Road to All In is heating up with a June 25th edition of Dynamite. At the show where centre in Seattle, the Stars came out to fight. Ibushi made a shock return to AEW on Collision, backing up Mark Briscoe against Don Callis' family. He had his first singles match in AEW against Trent Beretta on Wednesday, and Hangman Page hoped to pick up some momentum, as well as much more. But we started the show with Mercedes Moné, who interrupted Timeless Tony's entrance, taking her to the stage where she mocked her rival and locked in the statement maker. Officials and Mina Shirakawa came out to break it up and protect Storm. In one last mocking line, the CEO threw the Let the Games Begin line back at the Timeless one. This was a wild opening, paying off Storm's dramatic arrival to start the show. In particular, it's sold that Moné's been stewing on her revenge for a few week. The tensions are high and weekly brawls between the two women until All In are likely. It's important to do more than just that, though, especially with more imaginative ones in mind. For now, though, it was a hot start on the road to All In. Before we moved on to Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland versus Blake Christian and Lee Johnson, the Young Bucks announced that they have been moved up to the opener. And while the Aerial Assassin and the Mogul struggled to get in the rhythm early on, they eventually put it on together, and Swerve knocked out Blake Christian with a house call after an Ospreay hidden blade for the 3 count. Afterwards, they challenged Matt and Nick Jackson to put their EVP titles on the line in a tag match at All In. Ospreay and Swerve have impeccable chemistry as a team already, but that's hardly a surprise given their history and impressive matches against one another. Still, it's one thing to expect and another to see it. While that won't rank among the Aerial Assassin and Mogul's best contests, it's accomplished exactly what it needs to achieve. Christian and Johnson have continued to make the most of their spotlights, and Swerve and Ospreay show they can fully work together now with Page's involvement settled. The tag match announcement was expected, but Swerve and Ospreay pushing into put their EVP title on the line is a surprise. The Bucks could use a change in dynamic, so taking power away from them will work in that regard. Nick and Matt may find out how few friends they have about that power, especially with more stakes. The tag match has serious potential to seal the show at All In. So yeah, this is great stuff. 7 out of 10. We then got Kota Ibushi versus Trent Beretta, and Beretta brutalised Ibushi early and often in this match. He focused on the neck of the Golden Star, yet his opponent rallied and hit the Kaimagoi to win. Okada came out to affront Ibushi before Excalibur announced they would fight next week on Dynamite 300. The Golden Star may never be the same pro wrestler in AEW as he was in New Japan, but this is as good as he's ever looked in the company. It helps that he was given a veteran to work with. This was a physical battle, but Ibushi's looked great. The 43-year-old kept pace throughout and obviously hit his signature offense with fire. It was a welcome sight, and great to see him working with maybe Omega upon his return, and the stage is set for that match at All In. So yeah, great stuff. 7 out of 10. We then got Jet Speed versus Ricochet and AR Fox, and Ricochet and Fox struggled to get on the same page until the one and only walked out on his partner. Kevin Knight hit him with the Sky High and the UFO splash for the victory. Knight and Speedball then called their shot for the World Tag Team Championships, and Lashley and Shelton Benjamin attacked them from behind and sent them through a table. MVP agreed to the match if the challengers could still walk off the beatdown. MJF declared he would win a qualifier for the Casino Gauntlet next week and earn his shot at the world title. Mark Briscoe interrupted to request the Hurt Syndicate leave as MJF was taking too long with the promo. The start of the year verbally snapped back, but was ultimately left embarrassed by Briscoe before he left. When Ricochet first announced his intent to scout talent, has seen a foregone conclusion he'd align with the CRU. With each week, the one and only has instead sold a different idea. He sees the likes of working with Christian, Lee Johnson, Leo Rush, Gates Agony, and now Fox. Even these teasers feel unpredictable. The entire angle has allowed Ricochet to interact with a variety of lower card stars and make it feel like important TV. This match was no different, and the one and only found a great dynamic with Fox, continue to grow in more heat. They flowed well, and they're great speedster on the opposite side. Jet Speed came together as one of the most exciting teams in AEW today, and I think, yeah, they're definitely tag team title contenders. It's the first challengers for Hurt Syndicate that feel like a genuine threat as well. And after everything that happened to MJF in Mexico, it's nice to see that follow up, and him winning the Casino Gauntlet would make sense. So yeah, on the whole, I really enjoyed it. Get 7 out of 10. After a chaotic match and a wild series of near falls between Takeshita, Briscoe, Roderick Strong and Bandido took out Takeshita a 21-plex to only walk the end of the heartache. Briscoe then caught Roderick Strong with a froggy road to seal the win and move to the Casino Gauntlet. An unpredictable match on paper that was previously segment heavily telegraphed a win for Briscoe. That was only a small downside to an awesome run of in-ring action between 4 fast and hard-hitting competitors. The chemistry between these stars was obvious, especially as Briscoe and Strong, Takeshita and Bandido showed serious fire together, as well as making a great rivalry in the making. Hopefully all 4 can continue this hot streak in the Casino Gauntlet. They all come off as ring generals for the start of the action. Briscoe's win was a nice small positive after taking some tough losses, and he will not win, but he will play a heavy role in it. So yeah, 7 out of 10. When they then got the 4-way for the number 1 spot in the women's Casino Gauntlet, and Athena had big aspirations in this match that were dashed by Thunder Rosa. This left Widow Nightingale in the ring for Marina Shafir, Willie Distraction, and a Saturday Night Fever for Chris Statlander's victory. This was not quite able to hit the chaotic heights of the men's 4-way, but it was still the major showcase showcase of the 4 women. Athena was the faster competitor throughout this match, flying around the ring whenever she was in control. She showed why she needed to do more on AEW TV. That could be the plan following her match with Thunder at Supercard of Honor. Rossa may finally get the win in that one. And this was the most exciting part of this match, though, and more development of the story of Widow and Stat. They look like the two recently came together as friends until recently, but suddenly it's more like the Death Riders could add another female star to their ranks. Stat needed a statement win and earning #1 spot in the Casino Gauntlet's an important step in the right direction. This is the second time that she's earned the distinction, and she might just be able to make the most of it. The Women's Gauntlet feels far more open-ended. Anyone could emerge with it, and that's the problem for the Women's Championship. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see where it goes. 6 out of 10. It was their main event time between Hangman and the Beast Mortos, and Hangman survived the best lucha libre that the Beast could offer him and took him down with a buckshot. Afterwards, the light went out. When they turned back on, the Young Bucks hit the key cowboy with the EVP trigger. The Death Riders ascended and the Elite assisted Mox in choking out Hangman with a steel chain. The Ox and Ospreay ran them off eventually, but the damage was done. As good as these two men can be in the ring, this was never about the match, as it was the aftermath. Hangman played to Mortos' strengths, working a fast-paced style through the contest. They hit their beats well and delivered fun action without much drama, but the main event, because Matt and Nick Jackson finally turned on Hangman, they delivered the EVP trigger the same way they did to Strickland after Dynasty. There's a nice visual parallel followed by the memorable but short attack on the Death Riders on Hangman. Logically, the faces took long to save, but it was effective for Moxley, especially with Swerve suspended. This really made the heels look good. Instead, it was simply a solid match, and the segment didn't maybe quite take things to the next level, which maybe it could have done. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I can see what they're doing. Maybe didn't quite click, but I think, yeah, it will in the coming weeks. Overall, AEW Dynamite this week gets a 6 out of 10 from me. I thought overall it was a pretty solid show. The matches are consistently strong, really. And, you know, it kind of felt in some ways a bit like a filler week before All In, but I thought there was some stuff to keep us interesting. Obviously, some developments like in the main event. So, yeah, I'm very intrigued where we're going at the moment. I'm definitely hyped for the All In pay-per-view coming up. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.